Hello class, Dr. Bans here. Let's take a look at these questions. Let's find their inverse Fourier transforms. So these questions, is easier to use the partial fraction method, okay? To use the partial fractions method, there are two equations that you actually have to be very familiar with because they're going to help you and because you have to apply them, okay? So these are those two equations. Always remember them. Okay, so this is the first one. This is the second one. Okay, so always remember these equations. Okay, they're going to be very important for you to use them in partial fraction method. Okay, so having known this one, let's go on to our first question. So this is our first question. So our first question is s of omega is equals to 5j omega plus 12 over j omega squared. Okay, j omega squared plus 5j omega plus 6. And this is equals to, okay, this is equals to we are breaking them into partial fraction. Okay, so in partial fractions, we find two numbers that we can add to get this 5 and multiply to get this 6. So that will be what? 2 and 3. Okay, so I can have j omega plus 2, okay, plus b on what? J omega plus 3. Okay, so now after that, I multiplied through the whole equation by j omega plus 2 and j omega plus what? 3. Here, it will cancel j omega plus 2, and I'll be left with only j omega plus 3. And here, it will cancel j omega plus 3, and I'll be left with what? J omega plus 2. So in that case, A is equals to, okay, A will be equals to 5j omega plus what? 12. When I multiply through by this one, it will cancel out both of them, okay? Because you see that this one is also a product of j omega plus 2 and j omega plus 3. So it will cancel both the j omega plus 2 and the j omega plus 3 over here. Okay, so over what? Here it will be over what? J omega plus what? 3. Because the j omega plus 2 will cancel. Okay, here, and then I'll introduce here I'll insert j omega equals to minus what? 2. Okay, so basically it's just this simple. So if you put minus 2 here, you get minus 10 plus 12, which is what? 2. If you put minus 2 here, you get 1. Okay, you just end up getting 1. So 1. So A is equals to what? 2. Now B is equals to 5 into what? J omega plus what? 12 over what? J omega plus what? 2. Because the j omega plus 3 here will cancel out. So you'll be left with what? J omega plus 2. Okay, so here, let's say j omega, I will insert j omega equals to minus 3. If I put minus 3 here, 5 times minus 3, 15, which will be minus 15, plus 12 minus what? Which is equals to minus 3. If I put in minus 3 here, minus 3 plus 2, minus 1. Okay, minus 1, which is equals to what? 3. So I'm going to have okay, A is what? 2. So I'll put 2 here. A is 2. So I'll have 2 over what? J omega plus 2. J omega plus 2. And then I'll have plus what? B. B is what? 3. So I'll put 3 here. And it's what? J omega plus what? 3. Okay. So if I take the Fourier transform of both sides, the inverse Fourier transform of both sides, okay, with respect to this equation, because from this equation, what you can see is that this part is the same as this one, okay? And then this part again is the same as well, this one, okay? So I can just take the inverse Fourier transform. In that case, I will get 2e minus 2t into what? U of t, which is just like this place, okay? Just like this place, okay? And then I'll get plus, okay, plus 3, okay, e minus 3 what? Minus 3t into u of what? T, okay? All right. So basically, this is what I'll get, okay, for this particular question, okay? All right. So let me rewrite the answer again so that you will not be confused in terms of the clarity. Okay, so here the answer I got was that x of omega was equals to what? Was equals to a, okay, a, which was what? 2 over what? J omega plus 2 plus what? B, which was what? 3 over what? J omega plus what? 3. J omega plus 3. Okay, so this one was equals to what? Taking the Fourier, taking inverse Fourier transform of both sides. Okay, so if I take the inverse Fourier transform of both sides, what I got was that I got what? If I take the inverse Fourier transform of this side, I get what? X of what? T. Okay, x of t is equals to 2e minus what? 2e, so I'll get 2e minus what? 2t, okay, minus 2t, which is coming from here, and this 2 is from here, okay, into u of t, unit step, plus what? 3, this 3, e, and this one, minus 3 what? T into u of what? T. So that is my answer. Now let's go to the second one. So the second one is such that we have z omega is equals to 4 j omega plus what? 6 into what? J omega squared, okay, plus what? 6 what? J omega plus what? 8, okay. So this one is equals to what? A on what? If I break this one into two integers, so that such that they can add to give me 6, multiply to give me 8, then I can have what? 4 and 2. So j omega plus what? 2 plus what? B over what? J omega plus what? 4. Okay. All right. So if I do that, and then I multiply through by what? J omega plus 2, J omega plus 4. Here, J omega plus 2 cancel J omega plus 2 here. I'll be left with J omega plus 4. Here, J omega plus 4 cancel J omega plus 4 here. I'll be left with J omega plus 2. Here, J omega plus 4 and J omega plus 2. Okay, they will both be cancelled by this one, because this is also a product of what? J omega plus 2, J omega plus what? 4. So in that case, A will be equals to 4 J omega plus 6 over what? Over J omega, because J omega plus 2 will cancel. So J omega plus what? 4 into what? I will insert J omega plus what? 2, which is this 2. If I do that, what am I going to get? Okay, if I put 2 here, it's minus 2. I'm going to insert minus 2. So if I insert minus 2, because J omega plus 2, 2 will go here to what? Minus. Let me check the other one. If that's what we did. Yes, it was correct. Okay. All right. So now here, what we're going to do is that we're going to here minus 8 plus what? 6. What? Which will minus what? 2. Okay, minus 2. Here minus 2 plus 4, which is what? 2. Okay. So that means that it's going to give me minus what? 1. Here B is equals to what? 4J omega plus what? Plus 6 over what? J omega plus what? Plus 4. Sorry, here with the B, it will be J omega plus what? 2. J omega plus 2, because the J omega plus 4 will cancel out. Okay, and then I'll insert J omega is equals to what? Minus 4. Okay, so J omega is equals to minus what? 4. Okay, so when I do that, if I put minus 4 here, it will be what? It will be 4 times minus 4 will be 16 plus 6 will be what? Minus 10. Okay, then here minus 4 plus 2, it will be what? Minus 2. Okay, that will be minus 2, which is equals to what? 5. Okay, so now z omega is equals to what? Z omega is equals to minus 1 over what? J omega plus 2. And then I'm going to have plus what? 5 over what? J omega plus what? 4. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have. So now if I take inverse Fourier transform of both sides, okay, of both sides. So if I take inverse Fourier transform of this side, I'll get of this side, I'll get x of what? T. Then this side, if I take the inverse Fourier transform of this side, I'll get minus e into what? Minus 2t u of what? T. Okay, then here I'll get plus what? 5 into what? E minus what? 4 what? T u of what? T. So that's the end of this one. Let's go to the last one in this particular series. Okay, so here the last one, okay, that one is a little bit tricky that we have to be careful of. Okay, so that one, number 3, okay, the number 4 is similar to number 3. So I'll do the number 3, and then the number 4 will be for you something to try. Okay, so 1 plus 3 j omega, okay, over 1 plus 3, here is no 1, it's j omega, okay, plus 3 what? Squared. Okay, so this is what we have. Alright, so how can we be able to deal with this one? Okay, it's a similar approach that we're going to actually use. Okay, so here still using the partial fractions, a over what? A over j omega plus 3, which is also a product or which is also what do I say, can divide this particular square, okay, j omega plus 3, okay, plus what? B into you take this whole squared, okay, so j omega plus what? 3 what? Squared. So that's how you do it. You take one, that is a product of this one, and then the whole of this one. Okay, so now here what is going to actually happen is that I can have b is equals to, okay, if I should actually multiply through by the whole of this one, then what is going to actually happen is that I will have here to actually multiply through, and then okay, so if I multiply through by j omega plus 3 squared, here it will cancel everything. Okay, so it will cancel everything. So I'll be left, and here also if I multiply through, it will what? Cancel it. So I'll be left with only 1 plus what? 3j what? Omega. 1 plus 3j omega. Okay, and here I'll use the denominator here. So j omega here is equals to minus what? 3. Okay, so if I do that, I put minus 3 here, it will be what? Minus 9 plus 1 minus what? 8. So that is for what? B. Now let's see for what? A. Okay, so let's see for A also. So for A, it's going to be here. What happens in A is that I will actually integrate it. I will write this formula 1 over j into delta of what? Omega. Okay, then what happens is that I will integrate, I will differentiate this one. I will not integrate, I will differentiate this one. Okay, which is what? J omega, sorry, how did I just write? Which is going to be 1 plus j omega. Okay, 1 plus j omega. Okay, please let me do the A again. Let me write it again. Okay, so the A is going to be equals to this formula 1 over j into integral of, into differentiation, delta on delta or delta w. j omega. Okay, because what happens is that if I should actually multiply through, okay, here with this one, it will cancel it out. Okay, it will cancel it out. All right. So now I'll just have to integrate this part. Okay. So now integrating this part, what I will get is that I will have if I should integrate this part, then I'm going to have 1 plus integrating this one is going to be very easy though. I'm just going to have I'm integrating with respect to omega. Okay, so I'm just going to have 3j. Okay, I'm just going to have 3j. Okay, so basically here, if there is anything to insert, then it's going to be what? J omega is equals what? Minus 3 from here. Okay, so here j omega equals minus what? 3. Okay, so if I integrate, I'll have what? 1 over what? J into this one. Okay, here I'll get what? Basically I'll get 3j. Okay, because if you differentiate 0, you get what? If you differentiate 1, you get 0. You differentiate 3j omega, which is equal to the omega, you get what? 3j. Okay, so basically here this one will give me 3. All right, it will give me 3. So basically that is what I'm going to have. Okay, that's what I'm going to have. So I'm not really going to insert in this j omega equals minus 3, but I wrote it for you to just know from here. I mean, just for you to know from here, but I'm not really going to insert it. I get my straight 3 from the what? From the differentiation. Okay, so now my answer is going to be x on what? X of omega is going to be what? A, which is what? 3. Okay, over what? J omega plus what? 3 plus what? B, which is minus what? Minus 8 over what? Over what? J omega plus what? 3 squared. Okay, so this is what I get. So now x omega is equals to 3 over what? J omega plus what? 3 minus what? 8 over what? J omega plus what? 3 squared. Okay, so this is what I have. So now if I have this one, you just take IFT, inverse Fourier transform of both sides. Okay, of both sides. So if you do that, you're going to get what? X of t is equals to here 3. Okay, I'll get what? 3 into e exponent what? Minus 3 t u of what? T. Okay, so that is what I'll get at this side. Okay, then I'll go to this side. You see that this side, okay, when I come to this side, basically it's similar to, you see that I'm trying to find what I wrote for you earlier on. Okay, so this side is similar to this one, because you see that it is squared, and this place is also what? Squared. Okay, so that means that I'll be using this one, this approach. Okay, so here I'm going to have minus 8 what? T. Okay, minus 8t into e minus what? 3. Okay, e minus what? 3 t into u of what? T. Okay, so x of t, just rewriting it, is 3 e minus 3 what? T u of what? T minus what? 8 what? T into e minus 3 what? T u of what? T. So that's the end of this particular question. Now let me write the last one for you to try. Okay, to try. So that is Ivan. The fourth one, x of what? Omega is equals to 2j omega plus 1. Okay, and then j omega plus what? 2. Okay, all squared. Please try this. Thank you so much, and see you in the next class.